I'm joined with Malcolm Dorsey here at the Red Cloud Mining Conference 2024. Malcolm, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.
So you guys at Torr Metals are a gold, copper exploration company. First off, I got to sort of talk some high level here as we sit down. We're talking gold's pushing all-time highs. Copper, it's not near that all-time high point, but it's certainly had a really good year. What's your read right now on the commodities market, specifically with gold, copper?
Yeah, that is why Torr Metals has been diversified, and our focus is both in copper-gold porphyry as well as in orogenic gold projects. With that, copper has had a great year. Its projection is going to continue to grow. We need that supply. With that, you've got all those different forecasts. BHP, I think, recently came out with a forecast of a growing demand, 70% increase by 2050 to 50 million tons per annum. With this, really what you're seeing in this is a corporate strategy as well for ourselves, is the fact that much of the focus for copper in the past has been on mining projects and heavily leaning on brownfield projects. With that, what we're seeing is a real reduction in the number of new major discoveries in copper porphyry deposits. Same thing is happening with gold deposits as well. With that, we see a real opportunity to get in there early at low cost to acquire greenfield projects to really expand on this growing supply shortage.
It's strange though with copper, because we know that we need more copper in the world. Like the math is clear, and Robert Friedland gets a soundbite every couple of months that gets circulated on social media about copper. Yet here, I know a handful of copper names that have big resources that trade at insignificant market caps. There doesn't seem to be a lot of interest in copper exploration names right now. What changes it, and what starts to drive investor interest into the equity side and the exploration side of copper plays?
Yeah, I think with that, it's really going to be the jurisdictions where the copper is coming from, the interest of investors. So a lot of investors do like to play in the safer jurisdictions. So I think they're going to look towards, at some point, more North America, South America. You'll see some more capital movement into that. And that's where we really, with our projects, we've focused on the copper-gold porphyry systems in British Columbia. They're very unique. These are alkalic porphyry systems. They're known just as much for the copper content as they are for the gold content. So I like to say that often these types of deposits, you get an improved economic benefit by focusing on these deposits, as there's much a gold deposit as they are a copper deposit. So that's one angle that the company is working in, that we think that will garner more market attention, as well as jurisdiction, is that accessibility. So we need to be looking at projects that are accessible, that have near-term discovery potential. And with this, I think we'll start to see more interest within that copper market, especially as we continue. There's more and more copper that's needed. We're entering into new technologies, a new digital age. All of that is going to bring in copper demand.
So let's quickly get into Torr Metals. What's the high-level overview for the company? Where are your assets? What stage are they at?
Yeah, so Torr is focused on early-stage copper and gold opportunities. With this, we like to have 100% ownership, we like district scale, and we like to be next to major provincial and mining infrastructure. So with that, our focuses are on the Colos Copper-Gold Porphyry project in south central BC, as well as the Filion Gold project in northern Ontario. Both of these projects are adjacent to highways. They're nearby towns and cities that we operate out of. We have no need for an exploration camp. And with these, we were able to acquire them at very low cost. So with that, we maintained our tight share structure within the company, only 36 million shares outstanding. And these projects we've had for just almost a year at this point. And within that year, we've done some very rapid advancement of these early stage targets. At this point, we've got 6 drill-ready porphyry targets right off of a highway in south central BC, and then 6 orogenic gold targets off of the Trans-Canada Highway in northern Ontario.
I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback here just from something that Rick Rule told me when I was interviewing him about chatting about copper. He told me that he thinks that if you think you are going to find a major copper deposit off the side of the Trans-Canada Highway, you're crazy. Tell me why Rick's wrong.
With this, so we spent a long time working through all of the geology in the region. We focus specifically within the southern Quesnel Trough in British Columbia. This is for a number of different reasons. One of them being the southern Quesnel Trough is actually host to 3 of Canada's 5 largest copper producers. With that, if you go a little further in the Quesnel Trough, you also get the 4th at Mount Milligan. So 4 of the 5 largest copper producers are in this belt in British Columbia. So major porphyries are found there. You also have majors moving in with activity in that area. So our neighbors include Hud Bay, we've got New Gold, we've also got Fortescue just staked one of the largest properties in British Columbia just to our north. And then of course we have Teck and Canada's largest open pit copper mine at Highland Valley, 30 kilometers to our northwest. Where we saw the advantage there, of course, yeah, you're right next to the highway, so how is it that nobody else has ever found this or looked at it? So what we saw was highly prospective ground that had never been systematically explored before. What happened was exploration at Highland Valley back when it was first discovered decades ago, sucked up all the exploration, focused all the attention on that. People never really looked elsewhere around the area. So what we've done is we've looked elsewhere, we've looked at the ground, and we've done some initial studies and advancement that is showing some very promising copper porphyry indicators.
Okay, so if I am looking for copper exploration names, I see you guys got a $3 million market cap, a lot of torque. What am I looking out for over the next 12 months?
So over the next 12 months, so we do have a permit pending on our Kolos project, which is the copper porphyry project in south central BC. We're expecting that to come in later this year. In addition to having defined 3 copper-gold porphyry targets on the west side of the highway, we've also defined a calc-alkaline copper moly target on the east side. With that, we've done some further follow-up. We recently expanded, nearly doubled the size of the property to the north. We found a new area there that's showing the same promise as what we have in the southern area of Kolos. So what we're looking at is potentially multiple clusters of alkalic porphyry centers in these areas. With that, some of the work that we had done before on the southern targets showed over 4 kilometers of copper and gold anomalies in soils. This was the first ever soil program on this property. We followed that up with the ZTEM geophysical survey. It's coincident with those soils, coincident with outcrop mineralization of 0.52% copper and over 4 grams per ton gold. And it shows a very robust hydrothermal mineralizing system that continues to over a kilometer depth beneath all this surface mineralization. So none of this has ever been drilled. So that is low-hanging fruit for us to go after.
Okay, well, Malcolm, thanks very much for hopping on here. I think you guys got an interesting story, certainly, as we see the bull market start to shape up. And I wish you guys the best of luck in your drill program. And hopefully after you go make that major discovery, you'll still make time for us little guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve.